wasn't a regime change move. This was designed to degrade and or destroy 3 nuclear sites related to their nuclear weaponization ambitions. I don't like the regime, but we're not into the regime change business here. We're into the safety and security of the United States business.
I've got a bit of whiplash. I know you do too. There's not going to be regime change. We're not in the regime change. We want the regime to change. We got to have the regime to change. No, but we're not going to change the regime. We might change the regime. What are we doing? Remember what I just told you in the open, that everybody lies, including the good guys. Joining me now, Mike Cernovich, who is all kinds of spicy about this whole thing. Obviously, you know Mike, he joins us often. And I owe him not just for making great documentaries, but for hooking me up with some massa chips, which now I'm addicted to. Okay, Mike, before we get to the massa chips and other unimportant things, I know you're upset. Fire away. The floor is yours.
Well, upset might not be the right word, but I'm more concerned.
Okay.
Because if this had been like I was explaining to my wife, I go, look, if this was after the midterms, we had a successful year and a half, Democrats won, and then Trump needs to bomb some things, whatever. I would view that as a different situation, because we knew with a lot of the new people on the Trump train in 2024, we know that a lot of these people wanted Iran to be bombed. We just knew it. That's politics. I don't try to play the holier than thou act. You know, I'm so precious and pure and holy. But we need to get things from these people, and we're not getting anything from these people who want escalations with Iran, right? That's where I look at it is, as usual, the base is getting sold out. And then I worry, of course, too, about how it looks. So I was talking to a lot of people who are really confused because they say, well, you claim that Iran's not even that powerful of a nation. You're not worried about World War III, but then you're against the airstrike. And I go, I'm not against the airstrike. I'm against everything that led up to it and how it looks, especially to the younger male voters who were politically disengaged until this election. I don't think it looks strong. I think it looks like an Iran deal is going to happen. Trump is going to do a deal. And then Israel said, well, we need to have this deal not happen, so we're going to start bombing things. And then to your point about how everybody lies, this whole thing started, remember, Israel has a right to bomb Iran. And I said, sure, of course, they're a sovereign nation. And then we were told that they have it on their own. Okay, cool. And then we were told, no, the U.S. has to drop just a couple of bombs, because if they don't, we're letting down our ally. And I go, wait a minute, you were just telling me that they had it on their own. So now when they tell me, oh, no boots on the ground, no regime change, I'm thinking, do you expect me to forget what you were just saying a few days ago or a week ago, right? So why would I believe anything that I'm hearing right now?
Yeah, I guess that's a huge concern of mine as well, Mike, is we're constantly being just led with just these little crumbs down a path, and we're always told that that's as far down the path as we're going to go. And you'll have to forgive me, but that seems similar to every other war we've ever gotten into, at least in my lifetime and beyond that. I mean, World War I. No. We're just going to provide some weapons. No. We're just going to, oh, what's that? We got to send in the Marines. Sounds good. It always seems to go this way. And when you bring this up to people, you get a lot of pushback of, you're against bombing the Iranians. No, screw that government. I hate those daggone people. They've killed who knows how many of our troops in the Middle East. I'm not concerned about Iranian weapons. I'm concerned about Americans having to facilitate a different government in another country we don't fully understand.
Right, because what's happening is we're being set up. So the way it works is that if Iran does kill Americans, we have to retaliate. We have to, right? But that's why you want to avoid the situation where you don't have to make these moves, but the hand is being forced in a lot of ways. So that's what people don't understand. They go, well, who's calling for boots on the ground? I don't know, man. Mark Levin is talking about how we need to give Ukraine nuclear weapons. I'm so tired of being gaslit. And I think everybody is, and maybe that's why I seem a little more wound up about this when I'm against the Iranian regime. I think the mullahs aren't going to escalate too much, because then they're worried about the people uprising against them. China's not going to join them. We're not on the you had a great post where you said, people, not everything is World War III, right? I thought this is just, that perfectly summarizes what I'm thinking. You're not seeing me post, oh, we're about to be in World War III. And no, I'm not saying any of this, right? What I'm saying is that the table is being set for escalation, real or accidental. And we're getting to the point where if Americans were attacked, even accidentally, or if there was some kind of event that could be blamed on the Iranians, then we are sucked into something else. And we are being lied to. We are being told, oh, it's only one thing. How can you oppose that? Oh, wait, we only need a couple of bombs. And then we find out, no, it was cruise missiles from submarines and multiple bombs, way more bombs than we were told. And then of course, there's also the aspect of if if the bombing was as successful as Trump said, then I think that maybe that's a net good. But if it wasn't, then we've shown to China this is kind of the best bunker busters we have. So we've displayed our military might to China, flight patterns, all this intelligence has been gathered by China, who people tell us we have to worry about invading Iran. So then I would say, well, why are we giving them all of our flight patterns and other mission talks, right? Why are we giving them all this information? And then, of course, people are just saying you obviously like Iran and you obviously like Hamas. But you know what I'm noticing, Jesse? Doesn't work, bro. It is a completely different shift from 2003 or even from Trump's first term. If you went against Trump in the first term, I mean, you were against the lockdowns and everything, from day one. People were really nasty to you, and it became very acrimonious. And this time, they're nobody's trusting the plan. That's the information environment that I think a lot of people haven't adapted to. Is I thought yesterday, yeah, I'm going to get chewed out as usual by people, and other than a few boomers, people were saying, yeah, we don't trust the plan. We expect to get results. So that is a major development.
Mike, I guess I'm going to ask a more general question before we get domestic, but I really genuinely mean this. You're right. The trust isn't there because the trust has been violated so many times. It's not hard to be distrustful. Does that make us better or worse off as a country? I'm glad that people are aware that they're lied to. I'm glad people are aware that even the saintly Pentagon is not a trustworthy place at all. I'm glad they're aware of that, but isn't that kind of an ugly place to be too as a country that you really can't trust any of these people? You trust the FBI? You trust the CIA? I don't trust any of these people.
I went back and forth with this on COVID, and I've always said, and I think I said on your show a couple of years ago, and maybe this is panning out as agreeable now. As I said, COVID was in a way one of the best things that happened to the country because that was the real vaccine to the disinformation and the propaganda. And if you go back and look at the Gulf of Tonkin incident leading to the Vietnam War, you go back to the Lithuania event and you find out, no, actually, we were smuggling weapons and we were trying to get in on it. You go back to did Pearl Harbor was their advance notice, and you look, the American people have almost always opposed intervening in these great global wars, right? Almost always. And then there's an event that happens that you often find out was a false flag event. So, in my opinion, it's better that people don't trust it because when you look at the major historical shifts in our country, it was always based on a lie. It wasn't based on the truth. So, for me, I want to live in a truth environment. I want to live in an environment where people say, look, a lot of people who really like Israel back Trump. They wrote big checks when he needed it. They're big donors. They want to get things, but they're going to give you things. And this is how horse trading works. Cool. Yeah, I'm fine with that. I'm not some, again, moralist, right? They want to take over the West Bank. What's it to me? What's it to me if Israel's taken over place? I don't care. The Hamas people hate me anyway. They're aligned with the Marxists. Look at this mayor in New York, right? They're not my allies. But the lying is what people are sick of. The moralizing, the scolding, the you must love Iran if you're saying the kinds of things I'm saying, where I'm like, no, moron. We hate Iran. We hate the regime. We hate to having it be an Islamic caliphate. We despise all of it. But don't lie to me. Just say, look, here's the deal. We helped Trump. He needed it. He was down. He was really down. We won this war. We're going to give you Maha stuff. We're going to give you RFK Jr. We're going to keep that agenda going. We're going to give you the Epstein files. And then I would say, cool, man. But like a lot of people, we have there's kind of a meme going around like fatigue, and you apply whatever is annoying you to fatigue. And people have BS fatigue, right? We're just tired of the BS. Tell us what we're getting. Tell us what the deal is. And we'll be willing to play ball and we'll be willing to horse trade because nobody in politics is really that pure.
All right, Mike. So finally, where are we on all this domestic stuff? We talked a lot about Israel, Iran. In fact, it's all anyone's talked about for 72 hours now, if not longer. But my concern is America always has been, always will be. Where are we at on mass deportations? Where are we at on the Epstein files? Where are we at on the FBI whistleblowers being brought back? Do we have updates on these things?
Right. We know the FBI whistleblowers haven't been brought in. We know that the Epstein files are taking way longer than people said. We don't have the J6 pipe bomber. That's still a great mystery. We don't have mass deportations, although the border is shut down because there are deportations happening. So in that regard, there's action being taken there, but it's certainly not mass deportations. We have, I don't know, John Cornyn's talking about maybe if he's going to stay in the primary or not. So that's an interesting development where, yeah, I'm skeptical that he can be, I don't know, he might be, you're better in Texas. I don't want to go too far with my skis on that, but overall, the domestic agenda was shoved aside. We don't have everything that we've been promised or even anything that we've been promised right now. And I'm tired of seeing the FBI whistleblowers. If there's good cause to not reinstate them, then say it, right? There's a bunch of information that I want to know about. And this is your home state, Jesse, the Garland shooting. People forget that a jihadist was told to tear up Texas and went into a Pamela Geller event. It was a Draw Muhammad contest. And he was sent in by an FBI agent to commit a mass shooting. He was only stopped because people in Texas can still carry. And the FBI agent was only found out because he was pulled over by a local police officer. Senator Grassley asked for these files under Christopher Wray, and Comey never got the files. I want the Garland. I want to know who is the agent who said tear up Texas to a jihadi. If we're so worried about Iranian attacks on the U.S. and Islamic terrorism happening in the West, why don't we have the tear up Texas files? Well, they can just release it. But no, everything is apparently so hard. Everything is so difficult to do. It's so onerous. Well, I mean, why? I can tell you right there, Grassley asked for the files. Give them.
Yeah. Why indeed? That probably is the ultimate interesting question. Mike, thank you, my brother. As always, I appreciate you.
I would thank you for coming to my YouTube channel, but I know how brilliant it is, and I know you love it here. So subscribe and watch. We're going to start really ramping things up and putting some funny stuff, some interesting stuff out there, some collaborations. Either way, my YouTube channel is officially the place to be. So stick around.